because I was a big fan of fairy tale when I was a kid. I had this like pop-up book, I think, or something along the lines of that, and I remember flipping through it, and they had this like really gorgeous illustration of like this kid hiding behind something, like it was like a vase or something, because it was giants or whatever, and there's like these giants at a table, and I always thought it was kind of scary and kind of cool. One of my favorite fairy tales. And I've always wanted to read this book. This book is really kind of hard to find. I got this from a good friend of mine on Instagram that sells books like this. And I can't remember what I paid for it, but I got it pretty cheap. The story itself is about a guy named Jax, or Jackson, or whatever, and him and his friends are playing soccer in front of Graveyard School, and his friend Tyson ends up kicking a ball through a window of Graveyard School, and they take off running. All the kids scatter, and then this guy comes out and grabs Jackson by the seat of his pants and picks him up, and it turns out to be Basement Bart. When I've read 3 of these books so far, and I think the other 2 mentions Basement Bart, but I don't think he ever shows up. I could be wrong about that. And when he does, and he has this really cool, intriguing background about him, and we actually get a full description in this book. I'm not sure if we do that in all the other books or not. I haven't read many of these books, but according to this one, he is this really big guy. He wears camouflage and he has a ponytail. So I honestly was a little disappointed with how he looked. I was just like, oh, he's just like a regular guy. But he is a little scary in here. And basically he threatens Jax to pay for the window that he busted. So Jackson leaves. He goes home and he's thinking about ways to make some money to pay for the soccer ball. He goes home and he steals a piggy bank from his brother. Well, first he asks his parents for some money, and they say no. And there's something that he bought, from his allowance. He borrowed money already from his parents, and they're like, no, you can't do that. You have to buy it yourself, or you have to pay, whatever you want for yourself. And they do ask him, what do you need money for? But he kind of hides it. He steals this piggy bank from his brother named Paul. And Paul's a very neat guy. He's very well put together, has money, and he doesn't spend it all like Jax here does. He takes the money, he busts it open in a park to try to pay for the window. And there's only I think it's 85 cents in the piggy bank. So, of course, that doesn't work. He gets very disappointed. He gets his friend, Tyson, to come help him decide what they're going to do, because he's like, I got to pay for this or I'm going to be dead. This Basement Bart guy, is going to hurt me or whatever. So he goes and they go to a bank to try to get a loan, which is ridiculous, but it's really funny. It's written very fun. There's literally a scene where he goes in and talks to this loan officer and he says, I want to borrow some money. And the guy simply says, no, you can't. And he says, why not? He said, do you have money? And the guy says, no. And he literally says, we only loan money to people that have money, which is kind of true if you ever want to borrow money. I never thought about it that way, but it's really funny. It's good. Yeah, that part was really funny. So anyway, Jax goes home. He gets all of his stuff out of his bedroom and stuff. He says he's just going to sell some stuff and see if he can make some money. And he goes and he tries to sell them at the park. Nothing ever happens. I don't think he sells anything. He runs into some friends and all this stuff, So he's very disappointed. He gets ready to leave, and he runs into this really creepy guy that is out in his yard, and he's like a rich-looking guy. He offers Jax some money he offers Jax to pay him to cut his grass, and he says, "Yeah, I'll do that." So Jax begins to cut this guy's grass, and more grass pops up the more he cuts, and it's really weird. And this guy is described as having a suit and all this stuff. He looks filthy rich. I pictured the guy from King of the Hill. I've been watching a lot of King of the Hill lately, and it's Bill Dotrie's cousin or whatever. He talks really weird. I can't remember what his name is, but that's who I pictured. So anyway, he cuts grass and he finally finishes the whole yard after like the grass keeps popping up and the grass just kind of disappears. So something weird's going on already. We know. So the guy offers to pay him. He pulls out this like little like change purse thing, and he's excited. You know, he's like, "Oh, am I gonna get paid in gold?" No, he gets magic beans. There's 7 magic beans that he gets, and he goes home very disappointed. He's like, he's never gonna be able to pay this guy for the window that he broke. And actually, he didn't break it. It was Tyson that broke it, but he's very disappointed. He gets home. He's up late at night trying to figure out, you know, what he's gonna do, and his brother hears him, and he sees that he sees that his piggy bank is gone. So his brother like grabs him, and he says, "I'll pay you. You know, don't you know? I'll pay you back for taking the money." And he hands the his brother the magic beans, and his brother, of course, is mad. He throws the magic beans outside, and we cut to the next day, and there's a beanstalk outside. Jax eventually climbs the beanstalk because it's like the leaves are like kind of separated, so he can't like climb down. So he goes up, and he comes in like on top of the beanstalk, and he sees like a giant butterfly, and this was really weird because me and my friend we were buddy reading this, and we were talking about coincidences and stuff, and I picked this book. You know, this is my birthday month, and he sees this giant family, and one of the giants goes inside, and the giant is singing "Happy Birthday." And I thought it was really cool because this is my birthday month. I only picked this because it was just something I really wanted to read. Like, I haven't read a lot of Graveyard School books, and this one just really, really... on Goodreads, there's no reviews for it. Like, there's like one person other than me that's read it, and that's the person I buddy read it. So yeah, I was very interested. And then, you know, to top it all off, there's like a birthday scene in here. So, pretty cool. So... Jax is familiar with the story of Jack and the Beanstalk, and he knows there's a goose that lays golden eggs, and that's what he's after. There are giant, there are giant butterflies. They're giant cats. One thing I didn't notice, even in the storybook, I never noticed, but the goose that lays the golden eggs, he is in here. He's a normal sized goose. Like Jax, like grabs him and carries him out. So why is everything else giant? You know, I didn't understand that, but I think that's even from the original story. I think the goose is like a regular sized goose. Yeah, it's a fairy tale. Who cares? But but yeah, and that's basically the gist of this story. I'm not gonna say much more because I've already told y'all too much. But yeah, the giant stuff is really fun. It's typical like small person running away from a giant things. You know, there's a giant cat. You know, stuff like that. It's really cool. I really like that. The only problems I had with this book was it took forever to get to the Beanstalk. This book is 100 pages, and 60 pages in, we finally get to the Beanstalk. And most of this book is just this kid trying to like come up with ways to pay for the window that he busted, or that his friend busted. So yeah, other than that, it was fine. I didn't like the writing in here, and I'm not sure. And you guys can comment and let me know. I'm sure like Spongy or somebody knows. I'm not sure who, like, if these books were ghostwritten or if this is one author or what. But the writing in this one wasn't great. It was weird. I can't really describe it, but like there's scenes towards the end of the book where it jumps perspectives, and I had to go back because I didn't know what was going on. It jumps from Jackson to Hugo, which is the giant, the baby giant, the youngest giant, and then it jumps from like a pilot driving an airplane. Like it was like, and there's only one page that does this, or like 1 or 2 pages, but it makes no sense. Like why are we jumping from perspectives all of a sudden? We didn't do that earlier. Why are we doing this now? And the writing was very weird. It was like almost like it wasn't, I don't know, like the writing was fine. There was words in here that were like bigger than like normal average, children's literature that was crazy. There's these things called like, and I had to Google it, but like pettipids or something like that, where they're talking about like, and they're basically humans. That's just another word for like humans, because the giants have like their own version of a fairy tale about small people coming into their place and stealing stuff, which would be like us, like normal people. So yeah, and I was like, what does that mean? And there's also like Myers, like there's, I'm thinking that's just the same thing as like Briars, like from Vines or whatever. I didn't look any of this up, but it was like, just different words. And there's more in here, but there's also like at the beginning of the book when they talk about like the soccer ball that got kicked through the window, they don't even mention that it's a soccer ball until like page 8 or 9, and it's like, because when I was reading this, they were talking about like hitting the ball with their hands and stuff. I thought they were talking about like a tether ball, like at the beginning, and I was like, and then it like went through a window, and I was like, how does it go through a window if it's attached to a string? And then I thought maybe it was a baseball, but then I was like, why are they hitting it with their hands? So it was very weird. The writing was very, very, very off. And yeah, other than that, and the weird perspective changes, and it taking forever to get to the beanstalk, I thought this book was just okay. Like nothing crazy. It's not the worst one I've read in the Graveyard School series. The worst one I've read so far was April Ghoul's Day, which I've already done a review on. I haven't done a review on The Abominable Snow Monster, which is the first one I've read, which was really, really good. I do enjoy that one. But yeah, this one was just fine. And the reason I was talking about ghostwriting is because the writing in this one felt different than the other ones. Kind of similar, but not like quite as like weird, But yeah, Jack and the Beanstalker, I think that's about it for me. I give it a 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was okay. Nothing crazy, nothing good. I mean, well, nothing great, I meant. But yeah, this is Buddy Read. I had a lot of fun reading this. I do look forward to reading more of these Graveyard School books, but I've actually heard there's not a lot of good ones, so we'll see. I feel like I still feel like I should have read these in order, like started off with number 1. Some of these are very hard to find, like this one. But yeah, 3 out of 5 stars from you guys. I do want to talk a little bit about the weird. If you look right here, it says ghoulish gardening tips inside. So there are some like little like on each book there's like some kind of little special feature in the back, and there's only like 2 gardening things, and it's like how to make mold and how to like turn celery blue, which was really stupid. But yeah, I think it's ironic that a book is telling you how to cause mold, because mold is like the worst thing you can get for a book. But whatever. Yeah, 3 out of 5 stars from you guys. Please let me know in the comments if you've actually read this book, if you own it, or whatever. Yeah. One thing too, I absolutely love the cover of this. This was, and I didn't know this until the person that I bought this book from. His thing on Instagram is 90s Kids Library. Really cool guy. But Mark Nagata, who done a lot of the Give Yourself Goosebumps books, drew this cover. I'm not sure if he done all of the covers for these or who done the covers for these exactly, but this one is Mark Nagata, and this is a gorgeous cover. Really, really cool. I love these children's books that have like they're supposed to be scary, but have like skies that are just blue and very calm looking, just really, really gorgeous. It kind of reminds me of The Blob That Ate Everyone, like as a daytime cover book, and I think it's just really good. A lot of these books have like a night sky and stuff like that, but it does a really good job when you have like the calm background of just clouds, like innocent, and then you got something macabre in the front, kind of going crazy. This one's just a beanstalk with a kid's shoes and I guess a giant pencil or a big pencil and books, I'm not sure. But yeah, 3 out of 5 stars from you guys. I rambled quite enough. Please let me know in the comments below. What did you think about this book? Was it one of your favorites? Have you read it? Do you own it? What are your favorite Graveyard School books? What are some that you recommend me? I've heard that The Tragic School Bus is pretty good, so maybe one day I'll try to get around to reading that. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.